You are listening to the Space-Tastic Mysteries podcast. We are continuing Anna Gale Lyne's fourth novel in the Jaguar and Peacock series, Smoke and Mirrors. A deadly sniper stalks the stars. Aboard the Freedom Alliance's frontline StarVessels, crew members are being picked off one by one, the killer striking with chilling precision. When a member of Colonel Jessa Master's team is critically wounded, the threat becomes personal and impossible to ignore. Jessa is no stranger to danger, but this case rattles her. The sniper's methods seem hauntingly familiar, echoing a nearly forgotten nightmare from 9 years ago at the Freedom Alliance admission office, a tragedy she has tried to bury. Is it the same killer, back to settle unfinished business? Or is she chasing shadows conjured by her own haunted memory? This is episode 10, The Twin Effect. If you have not subscribed, do so now, and hit the bell to be notified of new episodes.
You appear to be right. Your contractions seem to be strictly Braxton Hicks, Dr. Manning diagnosed after consulting the Diane monitor. The miracle twins are doing well. Doctor, is everything okay with your programming? You haven't insulted me once since I've been here, I remarked. Dangling my legs off the diagnostic table, I studied the faraway look on his face. You seem to be preoccupied with something. Want to tell me what it is? Malcolm Danes, who Lieutenant Colonel Masters and Major Vincent brought in with a wound to the arm, the doctor began, wheeling his chair back to me. I realized that what the Diane monitor said his blood type was and what was written in his file were not the same. I gave Dr. Manning a sidelong glance. We are not dealing with the same person? Could it be a mistake? Nate inquired, running his fingers through his hair with one hand while still intertwining his other hand with mine. I thought about that, so I ran a DNA test and compared it to the one on file. We are not dealing with the same person, are we? I repeated, trying to keep the obvious irritation out of my voice. Dr. Manning nodded and provided, the DNA is so close that on the DNA alone, I would have never suspected that we were dealing with separate people. So we are dealing with twins, I exclaimed, rubbing my stomach. But don't twins have to be the same blood type? Only identical twins need to have the same blood type, he corrected, gazing at me. The Danes twins are fraternal twins. Which begs the question, where is the real Malcolm Danes? Nate voiced what Dr. Manning and I thought but didn't say aloud. Did he really die that day in the admissions office? I wondered, tightening my grip on Nate's hand. A sickening feeling washed over my stomach. Had I really killed him? My breathing became shallow, and my heart raced. Beep. One long, insistent beep. Dr. Manning glanced over at the Diane monitor, watching my levels rise. Colonel, you must remain calm. Your blood pressure is elevated. That is not good for you or your babies. Peek, he's right. Nate turned to me, lifting my chin up with his finger. You did what you had to do that day. He had to be stopped. He killed many innocents and tried to kill Graham. That doesn't matter. If he is dead, I killed him, I screamed, bordering on hysteria. I've been in this business how many years and never killed anyone, except him. I shook my head. It doesn't matter if I did it to stop a madman. I still did it. I am capable of it. The Diane monitor beeped. Dr. Manning stared at it. Colonel, your blood pressure is dangerously high. If it does not come down, I am going to have to admit you. High blood pressure can lead to complications. I took several deep breaths, willing my blood pressure to return to normal. Trust your instincts, Angel. Everything and everyone is not as it seems, Ben's voice replayed in my head. What did Ben mean by that? Is this what he meant? That Malcolm Danes was dead? That the man we are now dealing with was Malcolm Danes' twin? I moved back toward the headboard of the diagnostic bed, laying down. I stifled a yawn. Maybe we should move you to a hospital room, the doctor suggested, standing. I believe I will err on the side of caution and keep you here for a while for observation. Whatever you think is best, I acquiesced without much of a fight. I caught the troubled look Nate and Dr. Manning shared. Now I know I am right in keeping her here, the doctor concluded, folding his arms. When the Colonel agrees with me on anything, I get concerned. Nate concurred, me too. Nate moved his fingers through my hair. I smiled up at him as I gave into exhaustion. Time to get up, sleepyhead, I heard a raspy voice whisper as someone shook my foot. My mind focused right away. Danes, but which one, Malcolm Danes or the twin? While still under the blankets, I tapped my comlet 3 times, signaling that I needed security. My eyes flew open, searching the room until I found the masked man at the end of my bed, holding a pistol similar to mine on me. I gave him a slow, appraising look, noting the bandage where I shot him. No blood, how curious. When I had pistol wounds to the arm, almost all the time, blood seeped through my bandages, even into the next day. We have some business to finish, he thundered, letting out a wicked cackle. I mentally surveyed my surroundings: a small hospital room with 1 bed, a nightstand, a Dian monitor and a sliver of a restroom. What could I use to hit him? Are you Malcolm Danes or his twin? I tilted my head, widening my eyes. My brother is dead. You killed him in cold blood. He wrinkled his nose in disgust, turning his head from me. I cannot even stand to look at you. You are a murderer. I didn't shoot him in cold blood, I countered, waving my hand in the air. He burst into the Freedom Alliance Academy admissions office and randomly shot the students. Then he shot at General Graham. That's when I lunged in front of the general and shot your brother. I patted my right shoulder. I still have the bullet hole to prove it. You liar. That's not the way it happened, he protested, flapping the pistol around in the air. I have witnesses and a security tape that says that it happened exactly as I said, I noted. Now he was irritating me. Calling me a murderer when he didn't have all the facts was one thing, but calling me a liar because he wanted to ignore the facts was quite another. Witnesses can be paid off and tapes can be doctored, came his response. I rolled my eyes and shook my head. You sound like my brothers. You know them, they testified against you, your brother, one of you, at the trial. Robert and Paul Strasser, brothers of the great Jessica Jessa Masters, the person who killed my brother. Except that your brother is not dead, a voice announced from behind Danes. I peered behind Danes to see Colin thrusting his own pistol in Danes' back. We put together all the evidence from the shootings, and we found something interesting. We found Malcolm Danes' DNA and fingerprints at almost every scene. Back up, cop, or I will shoot her, Danes screamed, a murderous look in his eyes. The same crazed look his brother had the day of the shooting. I shot Colin a knowing wink and gestured slightly with my head, indicating for Colin to play along with me. Colin nodded. He had worked with me enough to interpret my signals. I grabbed my stomach and let out a blood-curdling scream. What's wrong? Danes demanded, waving his weapon at me. I screamed louder, gripping my stomach. Colin, get Dr. Manning. Delay that order, Danes called over his shoulder. She is not in charge here. I am. Am I allowed to get a glass of water, or is that too much to ask? I questioned Danes, gesturing toward the nightstand. When he nodded, I leaned over and poured myself a glass of water. I replaced the water pitcher. I put the glass to my lips. I screamed, doubling over, dropping the water glass on the floor. Crash. Glass shattered on impact with the ground. Danes hurried over to the glass pieces, bending down to pick up the jagged edges. I grabbed the water pitcher and smashed it on his lowered head. Danes fell forward. Colin's men rushed over, disarmed him and slapped handcuffs on his wrists. Have Dr. Manning check him out and then lock him up, Colin instructed the men who held Danes. They stood the wobbly man up and walked him out the door. You all right? Colin asked, sitting on the edge of my bed. I'm fine, I told him as the Dian monitor beeped loudly. Can you do me a favor? Can you personally see that he stays away from me? No problem, Colin said, stood and headed to the door. He looked back at me hesitantly. I'll be fine, Lancelot. I promise. I'll be back to check on you, he replied, shooting me a wry smile. I won't be here, I informed him, folding my arms across my chest. I can't stay locked up in here. But your blood pressure, Colin protested, giving me an anxious look. Please don't do anything dangerous. I don't want to have to tell Nate and Dr. Manning that I let you run off. I need to think. I can't think in here, so I am going to my garden. At least I know where to look for you. Once he disappeared into the hall. I climbed out of bed, then made it. After admiring my neat hospital corners, I donned my bathrobe. If I could just make it out the door and down the back hallway, I could sneak out the back entrance. I walked around the corner and toward the doors of my room. As the doors opened, I hurried out, running smack into a man. Where do you think you are going? He greeted in that gentle voice that put me at ease for so many years. I looked up into the concerned face of my husband. Ugh, I'd been caught. I had been so close to making it out of this hospital. When I didn't answer, he continued, gesturing toward the doors. I just saw Dr. Manning stitching up Malcolm Dane's twin's head. Maybe it was Malcolm Dane's, I don't know. Is he going to be okay? I asked, trying to brush past Nate. He grabbed my arm. Dr. Manning said that he will recover. That's good, I stated flatly, looking past him, but it could have been a lot worse the way he came in here and stuck a pistol in my face. What? Nate exclaimed, ushered me back into the room, letting the doors shut behind us. He was here. He helped me into bed and connected me to the dyne monitor. Didn't Colin tell you when you saw him out there? I wondered, turning my face away from him. Maybe you should get the report from him and let me be. He sat down on the bed and pressed down on my shoulders. You've got quite an attitude. And I want to know what I did to deserve it, he said with grave deliberation. I attempted to shake off his hands. Leave me alone, I yelled at him, throwing my hands up in the air. My attitude is my problem. He grabbed my arm and spun me around to face him. It is my problem because you are my wife, my pregnant wife, and I love you. I told you to leave me alone. Go, Jaguar. Go now, I cried, prying his fingers off my arm. I want to be left alone. Nate put his arms around me, pressing me hard against his chest. You are upset, and when you hurt, I hurt. He rested his head on top of my head. So no, I am not leaving you alone. Let me go, I restated, struggling to break free from his embrace. Let me go. The dyne monitor beeped in one long monotone. My blood pressure rose. If you would have just let me go, this wouldn't be happening, I told him, slapping his back. I could have been in my garden by now, far, far away from this, searching for the right word, anxiety. Then no one would be able to hurt me. Is that what you think I am doing, hurting you? He insisted, now holding me at arm's length, scrutinizing my face. You know that I would never do that to you. I am not your father or your brothers. You can trust me. He looked deeply into my eyes, probably searching for why I was pushing him away. What I know is that I shot a man 9 years ago. The doctor on the scene pronounced him dead. He raises up a few years later, only for me to find out that it was his fraternal twin, I retorted, glaring at him. That same fraternal twin waltzes into my hospital room, armed. Is he noticed by the patients, the doctors, or the nurses that are roaming the halls of this hospital? No. I waved my hands in the air, laughing, adding, but now, as it turns out, Malcolm Danes might, just might, have been alive after that shooting. He's alive? According to the DNA and fingerprints that were left at the first 9 shootings, yes, I provided for him, putting my hand to my head. I suddenly felt a bit woozy. Nate put some pillows behind me and helped me sit back, moving my legs onto the bed. Have you eaten anything today? I shook my head. I haven't had time. Dane's twin woke me up. Has Dr. Manning been in to see you? No, I answered, laying down on the bed. Nate made the necessary call, then sat in the chair next to the bed. Maybe you are right. Maybe this assignment is too much for you. I sat up again with a start. I never said this assignment was too much for me. But you said dash. I meant watching my blood pressure was too much anxiety. You have to watch it because of the babies, Dr. Manning said it could lead to complications, Nate warned, taking my hand in his. I am serious. I worry about you and the babies. I got that you are scared. I really do. I swung my legs around and sat on the edge of the bed, a few centimeters away from Nate. Peering over at him, I continued, I am scared too, but I can't be trapped in here like a caged animal. What's the old saying? A watched pot never boils. We aren't talking about a watched pot. We are talking about your health and the health of our children, Nate objected, stroking my hand with his thumb. My blood pressure is going to continue rising as long as I am cooped up in this room, I asserted, running my fingers through my hair. I glanced at my timepiece. It was almost 1,200 hours. I slept in this morning. I never sleep in. I am going to go insane if I have to stay in here. That is why I brought you this, the doctor announced as he walked further in the room. He held a device similar to the one I wore to monitor my DP-119 levels, only smaller. Nate and I exchanged amused glances. What is it? I questioned, staring at the device and then up at the doctor. I put my hand up to stop him from answering. On second thought, let me guess, it's a machine that monitors my blood pressure. Very good, Dr. Manning responded, a smile formed on his lips. It is a win-win situation. I will monitor your blood pressure from this device, and you will be able to move around all you like. I feigned a smile, wrinkling my nose. It's not that I am not thrilled with your offer, I started, glancing from the doctor to Nate and back again. I am just wondering why you are being so nice to me all of a sudden. You haven't exactly been a ray of sunshine to her, Nate interjected, squeezed my hand and stared into my eyes adoringly. He gazed up at the doctor, raising his eyebrow questioningly. Dr. Manning walked over to me and snapped the device on my left arm. I must be coming down with a virus. I will be sure to run a diagnostic on my programming later. I laughed, not sure if that was his attempt at humor. Then I pinched my eyes together. I have been wondering, doctor, could the high blood pressure be a symptom of some more serious problem? I have ruled out other possibilities, such as kidney disease, diabetes, and blood vessel conditions. He pressed a few buttons on the device, then caught my eye. Your high blood pressure is caused by stress. If it isn't controlled, it could turn into preeclampsia, which if not treated in time can kill the babies and me, I recited as I had when Dr. Meadows gave me this same diagnosis 9 years ago. And with my history. Your history, Nate exploded. Jag, we'll discuss it later, I told him with a dismissive wave. Your history is why I want to monitor you so closely. We do not want a repeat performance. You and your daughter are fortunate you had such a good doctor as Dr. Meadows, the doctor agreed, walking over to the large dial monitor in the corner, pressing a few buttons. Then he moved back toward me and glanced down at the device on my arm. I consulted Dr. Meadows. She is as concerned about you as I am. However, she told me that when she put you on complete bed rest, your blood pressure rose. Now I understand the change in attitude, I assessed, shaking my hair from side to side. I knew you had to have some prodding somewhere. My money was on General Graham, though. Dr. Manning stood in front of me, folding his arms. What do you say you and I call a truce, just until after the babies are born? Nate and I looked at each other. I gave Dr. Manning a sidelong glance, giving him a quick once-over. Are you serious? Very serious, he said. I think that it would be quite unhealthy for you and the babies if we let our personal feelings get in the way. I stuck out my hand. Agreed. He shook my hand. I would tell you to get plenty of rest, but in your case, do plenty of work, drink a lot of water and relax. With that, Dr. Manning disappeared out the doors. Nate grabbed my hands before I could go anywhere. Your history,